UFC Fight Night, Wednesday, Teixeira versus Bader. And the UFC's headed back to Brazil. Prelims, Fox Sports 1 start at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. And the main event at 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 Pacific, Fox Sports 1. So with the UFC stepping up its fights, seems like every weekend, maybe even twice a week, we're getting fights. I'm getting more interviews. And some of them are at the last minute. I'm not going to complain. But I got a text last night at midnight saying, all right, you're going to interview Ryan Bader tomorrow. So it was an awesome surprise. Ryan Bader, how you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You're in Brazil right now.
Yes, sir.
How was the flight?
It wasn't bad. It's 3 flights, It's just something that comes with territory. I came out here 3 weeks ago and did the flight and got to check out the crowd and all that for a little PR thing. And so I don't like leaving in camp, but it was good for me to do that. So I feel good.
How do you like Brazil?
It's good. I haven't done too much when you're preparing for a fight. We're here and in the hotel really and resting when we need to, working out, making sure our weight's fine. And I think the hardest thing is basically trying to find places to eat that, fit your diet and all that.
Hey, so the fans are insane when it comes to MMA in Brazil. How do they treat the American fighters? How have you been treated by the fans?
I've been treated well, but they're definitely going to be against me when the fight starts. And I got to go to the UFC Rio event for that PR thing a couple weeks ago, and they have their chance that you're going to die and all that to all the Americans that come out and they're fighting a Brazilian. And I got a few of them at the Q&A last night, but I'm expecting it. So I'll be prepared for it. I'll let it motivate me.
That's awesome, man. Okay, so your nickname, Darth. What's your favorite Star Wars movie? Honestly,
I'm not. They're going to hate me for saying it, but I'm not really too into it. It's kind of given to me. Is from old wrestling thing, and then I kind of came into MMA, and then they kind of gave it to me again without any prior knowledge of it, from wrestling, and so I took that. It was better than Master Vader.
I don't know, man. That's kind of funny.
No, but it'll be funny a few times, but you keep on getting introduced as it kind of.
All right, so you've been out of the Ultimate Fighter house for a few years. How you liking the fame?
That's not what it's all about. It was crazy when my buddy was telling me we were near Vegas and we were about to go to a fight after the Ultimate Fighter, and I was in the house, and then I went back home, and then that was my first kind of fight where I was going after that Ultimate Fighter, and it was crazy. Just he's like, be prepared. The people are going to come up to you and all that, and I was just like astonished at the number of people that were getting pictures and all that. So it was kind of crazy, but. For me, it's just, family and all that now. So I just get my training done and hang out with them and all that kind of stuff. So other than that, those are the only things really important.
Tough. Let's talk about the Ultimate Fighter, considering, you were on the show. How do you think this season's going to go with the co-ed situation?
It'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I haven't actually watched it in a while, but I might watch this season just to see how the dynamics kind of play out. But obviously women's MMA is becoming huge now, and then you got 2 good coaches, and then a mixed gender house, and so we'll see people fighting and then probably hooking up and all that kind of good stuff. It'll be good reality TV.
Oh, absolutely, man. I've been saying that for years. Bring women into the situation, instant drama. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh, yeah. You'll get the drama for sure.
Man, add a little bit of alcohol, you got a hit TV show. So let me ask you, if you were forced, if somebody put a gun to your head and said, Ryan, you've got a spoon with either Coach Rousey or Coach Tate, which would you choose?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know. Probably, what about both?
Yeah, hell yeah, you could pick both.
Okay, there we go.
Hey, listen, let's back up a little bit. You said you haven't watched the show in a couple of years. Last season was awesome. Not that your season wasn't awesome, but the way they're doing it now, I mean, I don't know if anybody told you, it's more of it's kind of like a documentary style TV show. It's pretty damn amazing the way they're handling it. So yeah, you got to check that out, dude.
Yeah, I've seen like a couple episodes or whatnot. I never got to the point where I was watching the whole thing, and it's definitely cool the way they're doing it now. And then hooking up with Fox and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna start checking it out, and then definitely probably watch this season.
Well, look, they say to become a legend, you got to beat a legend. You've beaten about 4. Now, if you get past Teixeira, is there a legend you want to get your hands on?
I haven't even thought that far. But eventually I'm going to fight, all those guys, and I have been, so I don't even look at that. When I first started my career, I wanted to fight those guys, as far as the big names in the UFC, and then, I was thrown in there real quick and, fought Jardine and Nogueira and all that, and went from there. And, those are the kind of fights I want. Those top guys, and those are the fights I've been getting, and fighting nothing but the best guys. So eventually, I'm gonna, I assume I'm gonna fight all of them. So there's no one in particular right now other than Glover that I'm really looking at.
Yeah. What about? I know you said you're not looking ahead, but you had to have thought about a rematch with Machida.
Oh yeah, I want to get that back. Made a mental error, and for me, I was just impatient. It was on Fox. I didn't want to have a boring fight, so I just went after it and paid for it. But definitely would like to get that one back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, listen, man, I've talked to a bunch of you guys over the years, and there's a question I've always wanted to ask, and you seem cool enough to where I can ask you that. For those of us, like myself, who will never step foot in the octagon, can you explain something? What does the mat feel like? It looks like it has some bounce to it. Is there any bounce to that thing, or is it like you're getting dropped on a regular floor?
I wouldn't say there's like bounce to it, but there's a little give. If you get, there's basically it's a bunch of plywood sitting on a frame.
Oh, okay.
And then it's some, like, I don't know, I would say about a 3/4 inch kind of mat, and then the canvas is pulled tight, and the canvas is kind of like a little rubbery, so you have some grip on it. But yeah, getting slammed on it, unless you're getting slammed right on a beam, it's not too bad in the octagon. And so there's that bounce, but there's a little give.
I got you. I've always wondered that, man. All right, so I got another question that I've always wanted to ask, and it's kind of a hack question.
No problem.
But tell us who's hit you the hardest.
I've never been. Well, I've been knocked down once, so that was obviously hard. But you don't come away from it like, oh man. Like, I've never been in a fight where I thought, oh man, that hurt. When I was fighting Rampage, he was kind of baiting me. He was keeping his head down to knee him in the head.
Yeah.
So I went to go do it, and he caught my leg and basically flipped me upside down and tried to spike me on my head.
Ooh.
And he kind of bent my arm back, all that kind of stuff. And I was a little dazed for a while, and so for like 20 seconds, I was kind of like, all warm, like you're getting tucked into bed, and you're kind of like, what's going on now? I just remember this big old dude coming at me, swinging at me. So then I finally got my wits about me, and then ended up taking him down and stuff. But that's probably the single move that I guess would be kind of hit the hardest or whatnot.
God, man, what a war story you're going to have 20, 30 years from now when you get to tell people you stepped in the octagon with Rampage Jackson. That's awesome. Do you think about that? I know you're always looking ahead to your fight and your focus.
Yeah, I never really look back because now's not the time, but definitely be cool, later on in life looking back because I fought the who's who of MMA, light heavyweight division. 4 out of my last 6 fights have been to champions, former champions. I have 3 losses; they're all to champions. So I definitely fight nothing but the best guys. And if you were to tell me I was fighting all these guys, 6-7 years ago, I'd say no way, But it's cool, and I want to fight those guys to get to the top.
All right, buddy. Well, let's talk about UFC Fight Night, Fox Sports 1, Wednesday night. Before you throw down, how do you think the co-main event's going to go between Souza and Okami?
That's a tough one to judge. Jacare's very dynamic and good ground game, good stand-up. Okami is just a grinder that has very, very good control, and he'll make you look like you don't belong there in the ring with him. So that's hard to play out. If Jacare can get off, use his jiu-jitsu, I believe he's going to win. At the same time, if Okami can, control him and keep him on his back or keep it on his feet. I'll probably go with Jacare.
Are you calm enough to really enjoy the fights before your own fight? Are you going to be able to watch that, or are you going to be too amped up?
They have little TVs in the locker room.
Yeah.
And they're playing the fights and all that, and you kind of glance over here and there, kind of watch some of the finishes or whatnot. But some people like to do that. Some people, I've been in locker rooms before where other fighters have asked to turn the TV off. They don't want to even see it at all. I don't get to enjoy them at all. Especially being the last fight. Yeah. So I just get it done. But the best is when you're done, you get a win, and you come back and you shower in the locker room, and you get to just relax, and then you can enjoy if you're fighting earlier, the rest of the card. Besides
avoiding getting punched in the face by Teixeira, what's some of your game plan you can talk about when you're going to fight him Wednesday night?
Hey, it's just mixing it all up. I definitely, my best attribute is my wrestling and I have power, and so I'm definitely going to use those, and I've been wrestling a lot lately. I've been going into the Arizona State Wrestling Room at least once a week and going with the peer wrestlers, and I've got that little things back that I've maybe missed over the last couple of years. So I'm definitely going to put him on his back. That being said, it's not my game plan going in there and looking for that right away. I'm going to let it open up, and I'm going to let my takedowns set up my hands too.
Well, good luck, Ryan. It was awesome talking to you, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.